Hello! It's funny, I just was setting this up, although there's not much setting up. I mean, it's a camera and a piece of paper, but... And then I received a... Whoops. Call from a company. It's weird. Yesterday I was looking for cores, toroidal cores, for like 4 hours. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And I still did not have any result. There is no way you can find those cores. They're just nowhere to be found. Only a few on eBay or something for like 3 kilowatts or something. Besides that, nowhere. You cannot find those. Only ferrites or iron powder, which are both... Iron powder is shit, and ferrites are only interesting for tweeters above 2 kilohertz. So if you want to make a ribbon tweeter in the future, or I will use those ferrite cores. You can get them everywhere. But a normal core, you cannot. Nowhere to be found. So I asked a company that makes transformers, and I said, do you guys have one of or a few of these cores, or could I order them or whatever? They said, well, no, but you could try this company. And then I called them, and they were like really friendly and said, well, just what kind of core you're looking for, and a person in the company will call you back on Thursday, and then, well, we know. And he already called back just before I recorded this, and he wanted to know some more details. So I gave him the sizes of this coil, so he can look if he has something similar, and will get back to me with the prices, because prices are of course a little bit more than ferrite cores. That's for sure. Also asked about the plastic rings. That's the way they come usually. They're certain standard sizes apparently. So if you make a custom core, you also have to make somehow a custom piece of plastic that will go over it. You cannot use, well, you can use like insulation tape, but it's not recommended. It's not the way they do it. Anyhow, a viewer, and the name I forgot it was, shall I look it up? There were several actually. Well, one of them said, you can try an Autotransformer. And that's what this is, and I'll explain how it works. And I thought about it, maybe I could use it because I've seen it before, but the first transformer I made was not a Autotransformer. Then someone else said, hey, you should have a capacitor in line with these, because just a few millivolts will saturate the core and you get loads of distortion. And I thought, well, usually in all of my ribbons I have a DC capacitor blocker, like a blocker for DC voltage in line. But indeed, in my video, I did not use one for the transformer, which I should have done, because the distortion, except for one nasty peak that was the ribbon itself, as I mentioned, the rest of the distortion is gone. So thank you. That's some good advice. I probably would have come to it in the end, but it always helps. I indeed forgot to use it when I measured these, which well, I should have done, and I do right now. So Autotransformer. That's another option compared to the normal transformer, and as you can see, there's only one wire. So it's only one insulated magnet wire instead of having a primary and a secondary. So let's first draw a normal transformer. Then you got like these are the turns. I'm not giving a shit about how many turns it is. What is it? Is it then like this? I'm not sure, but well, here you got another one. So primary, secondary. So, oh, this is not even visible. Jesus. It's a bit bright, ain't it? So primary, secondary. Now, in this case, I had a ratio of 3.16. So I had like 32 wires here. Sorry, cannot write. 32 and like 10 here. So 10 of these and 32 of these. And then here the ribbon gets connected and here the amplifier. Now an Autotransformer works a bit different. As you can see here, it only has one wire that goes around. In this case, well, I'll use the same numbers just to make it easy. I made 32 turns, like so. And then what you do, you count the turns, like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then let's say this is 10, which is not the case, but you make a tap. And the funny thing is that you connect your ribbon here, let's say well, speaker kind of logo, I don't know, here. And then the amplifier here. And you get the same result as this, but it uses only one wire. And which is also nice that you can just make several taps. So if you're not sure what kind of balance you want in between primary or secondary, you can just add some taps here. You can even, well, add one tap here. You could change the amplifier connection. So if I connect it to this one, the primary has a few less turns. Or you could just switch the ribbon to a next tap. Let's say this is 10, let's say this one is 8, this one is 6. So, well, the Autotransformer is rather simple. The only difference is that it's not galvanic, it's no electrical insulation. So this one, the normal transformer, this is one circuit and this is one circuit, and they're not connected. There. This is one circuit and this is one circuit. And these two are not connected, which is a good thing and is really nice. In this case of the Autotransformer, it is connected. So you wouldn't see this normally in a normal transformer, because that might be dangerous. It is dangerous. You will see this in like a variac. The transformers you can that have a knob on it, and you can, like switch the voltage down or up, and even it can have a larger voltage than the input voltage, and they do it like this. So you have these, then you add some more, and have another tap. And now this becomes the output with this one. And then you see that this is the primary, and the secondary has more coil. So this is even a higher voltage than the input voltage. It's not interesting for this, but well, it is funny that you can do that. So it's just one long wire that with a lot of turns, and depending on where you connect it, you can get all kinds of different results. And that's what this is. So it is one long wire. This is the beginning, this is the end. And I attach the amplifier to this one, these two. Then I attach the ribbon to one of those, this one by the way, because this has more turns. So this is my 3-2 sort of 3-to-1 ratio thing, or 3.16 actually, but so this is 2/3 of all the wire, and this is 1/3. So you connect the amplifier to these wires, and you connect the ribbon to these wires. And then I made like tabs. This is not the proper way to do it, but so I just removed the insulation and attached the wire to this one, to this one, to this one. So I got like 3 different positions. This is the normal 3.16-to-1 ratio. So that means this is like well, it's not completely fair because I calculated with 32, but in fact on this one there are 44 wires, and I got 44 coil, turns, and 14 turns where the ribbon is connected. So this is 14, this is 13, this is 12. So I can choose which wire I use and see what the difference is, what happens when you do that. The less turns you go, the higher the impedance is that is reflected to the primary, to your amplifier. So, for instance, here I have like 2 ohms. I measure 2 ohms impedance. Here it's like 2.5, and here it's like 3, for instance. It all has to do with this ratio. Now, I'm not sure yet if the ratio, what the benefit will be if you have more primary windings and thus also more secondary. As far as I know, in electrostatic transformers, you don't want to have too much on the primary because it will hurt the top end, but too less might like hurt the bottom end a little bit. So what to do there, I don't know yet. There's probably some sort of balancing thing. Now these cores are not the best for top end, I think, like really top end, since they're made for 50 Hertz. But the ferrite ones are completely useless for everything below 2 kHz, so this still is your best option, but you really have to play around with maybe the core size or whatever, but at least also the combination, or how many turns you use on the primary and thus how many you use on the secondary, which is not really secondary, but as the Autotransformer. Now I would think the only problem might be, and I did not test that yet, maybe someone can explain, but let's say the ribbon breaks, then you got an amplifier connected to like a very tiny piece of wire. I'm not too sure what happens then. I should measure this, see what it does. It might be like a short, which is not very nice. So if your ribbon breaks, then you blow up your amp, which if that is the case, which would not be so nice. So I have to think, I think you can make some sort of circuit, or maybe something as simple as a resistor, a big resistor parallel to it or something. That might be helpful. So if this is like 0. You know, this one. If the ribbon is like 0.2 ohms, it doesn't bother about a resistor of like 5 ohms. The combined resistance will still be lower than 0.2. So it doesn't hurt the workings of it, but when it blows, then only the resistor that remains is there. So the amplifier will see at least a resistor, and in this case a very high impedance, because the resistor is connected to this secondary that will boost this impedance to like I don't know, times 10 apparently. So you get like 50 ohms, and your amplifier wouldn't care about 50 ohms probably, not much at least. So that's probably a good, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm new to this as well, but I think that would work. Adding a resistor over the ribbon that is far larger than the ribbon resistance itself, and then it's kind of safe. You will at least not blow your amp. Unless the ribbon fails and the resistor. You know, you can always destroy it if you want. But yeah, I measured this one, and it measures kind of the same as the previous one. Not much difference. Slightly, maybe a tiny bit more output, but I also have the feeling I lost a little bit above 16k kilohertz. And that might, well, maybe if you look at the impedance measurements, that might explain why. Because the impedance rises. I don't know if that's any big of a deal, I don't know. So, because I'm no expert in transformers, so. But anyhow, yesterday I thought, well, okay, a few dB more, and especially, it's not so much about this 1 or 1.5 dB that I don't care about. It is especially interesting because making the ribbon is 10 times easier if I don't have to make my own laminate and, cut traces and such. So that's the only reason why I'm interested in these kind of things. Because it saves a lot of time. A ribbon is easily made. I mean, just cut it to size and corrugate it instead of making traces, adding mylar backing and glue, and then corrugate it, and having a special mount to connect to all the traces and having wires run back to the bottom of it. So this could be very simple, but yesterday at 4:30 I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna make it the way I do because I can never find a core. It's impossible to find cores, and if I can find them, they're like 200 euros, and for 3 kilowatt amplifiers probably. So yeah, but today I got at least a little bit lucky that someone is willing to look what they got on cores. They have cores, but he's looking for a correct size or almost the same size because I asked for it. And he couldn't say exactly what they were costing, but at least less than the cheapest toroid transformer I can find, that then I have to like cut up completely and then make a new one. So that's good. Yeah, that's it for now. So, well, I wanted to say a short video, but still 17 minutes. So if someone knows what more primary turns does to the high end, I think it hurts the high end. And what would be the benefit if I would? Please let me know, because then I got, I think, all the parameters I'm interested in. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.